Hello, happy Monday. Margaret Lloyd here, Eternal Life. Today we're going to talk about what helps me get strong when life gets difficult. We're going to discuss that today. So, and Tiny Buddha is going to help us with this. Let's see if we can get better light. I don't look quite as washed out as I did before. So, it's time you realize that you have something in you more powerful and miraculous than the things that affect you and make you dance like a puppet. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great minds of our world. Absolutely. So this is written by Bashir Bastine. This was something that I read this morning, and I thought it would be good to discuss. In 2016, I was about to graduate with high honors from a top university. I had mastered Mandarin. 11 months before graduation, I had secured a job from a reputable accounting firm. I was in a stable relationship with one of the most gorgeous girls on campus. Life doesn't get better than this for an international student 6,000 miles away from home. I gotta close the door. Alrighty. Slowly things began to change. 3 months before graduation, all 3 members of my family fell gravely ill. When I wasn't awake, talking on the phone with them, I was awake worrying myself into insomnia, anxiety, and stress. That'll do it to you. 2 months before my graduation, the recruiter who'd agreed to hire me wasn't returning my calls nor replying to my emails. I started to entertain loads of self-depreciating thoughts. Little by little, I was descending into oblivion. Finally, the big day had arrived. It was my graduation day. Pretending that everything was fine, I put on a big smile and went to the ceremony. Needless to say, there was a fire of frustration and anxiety raging inside me. Soon I wouldn't be able to conceal it any longer. The atmosphere of the auditorium was filled with laughter and excitement from relatives, teachers, students, deservingly so. That day marked the end of countless sleepless nights, embarrassments, exams, reports. To everyone, it was like the end of a 40-hour marathon in the Himalayas. Paradoxically, the smile, chatter, exhilaration of my classmates and their loved ones only added to my woes. I became more and more anxious with each minute that passed. Suddenly I was reminded of all the pains my mom had gone through to get me to where I was. When my dad left her because she didn't agree to abort me, she took it upon herself to move forward with the pregnancy and raise me. Without a proper job nor a stable source of income, she did everything in her power to ensure that I had a solid education. I would have given anything to have her celebrate such a happy moment with me. Fearing that I may embarrass myself and spoil my classmates' happy moments, I left in the middle of the ceremony and rushed back home. I locked myself in my room and cried my eyes out for hours on end. I came to a point when I couldn't eat, sleep, or enjoy any activity. For the first time, I was experiencing what psychologists call anhedonia. It's spelled ANHEDONIA. No beautiful movies, social gatherings, or sports appealed to me. As I isolated myself, I became more and more lonely. On November 10th of 2016, at 10 p.m., the only person that was around during those troubling times decided to put an end to our relationship. Normally, that would have been just another breakup, but to me, it was a breaking point. I can imagine. Given the grief and pain I was enduring at that time, I had no mental steam to cope with another rejection. The pain that was already eating my soul became even more unbearable. That night and the 17 days that followed, all I could think of was to simply end it all. The turning point. And we've all been there. I know we have all been there. I just can't take anymore. I gotta put an end to whatever this pain and agony and suffering is. We have to learn how to cope through that. 18 days later, on November 28th, I decided to open up to a pastor and her wife. For the first time, I counted all my pain and griefs to this couple who gave me their undivided attention for 3 hours nonstop. That night, I went home with a renewed sense of hope. It felt like a big weight had been lifted off my shoulders for the first time in 18 days. Life seemed to have more potential for joy than it ever did. Back to my room in front of my computer, a video by Nick Vujicic on how to overcome hopelessness made its way through my screen as if by magic. Halfway through the video, a feeling of resentment and shame was washing all over me. How could someone without limbs have such a positive outlook on life? I understood that there must be more to happiness and peace of mind than the challenges of life. Absolutely. I was determined to find out what I needed to do to help me navigate life's difficulties without losing any sense of pleasure or hope. In the subsequent months, I would discover what it takes to turn disappointment into achievement, desperation into inspiration, focusing on your blessings. I've heard it said that counting your blessings is an effective way to deal with challenges of life. I'm sure it is. It sounded too good to be true to me, absolutely. And incredibly difficult. How can someone count their blessings when they're obviously in a total mess? Still, I took a piece of paper and challenged myself to write 10 things that I was grateful for. Within minutes, I was all worked up writing positive aspects of my life that had previously eluded me. I may have been anxious, but I wasn't hospitalized. I had a roof over my head. I had friends that cared for me. My mom may have been sick, but she was alive. It became clear to me that my attitude toward my problems was clouding my judgment, as a lot of times it does, and preventing me from seeing the beauty of life. I realized that no matter what you are or what you are going through, there are always 1,000 reasons to be happy. I'm not saying that feeling down or frustrated is unnatural, that you shouldn't feel sad when you're going through hardships. Rather, regardless of how dark a situation is, there's always a silver lining. You simply have to search for it. I don't expect you to agree with me. All I'm asking is that you put this claim to test and prove me wrong. You have nothing to lose but a world of peace and relief to gain the minute you put pen to paper counting your blessings. Put your problems in perspective. As I continued to write my blessings first thing in the morning and before retiring at night, the happiness and peace of mind I experienced became contagious to anyone I came in contact with. Absolutely. People from all walks of life they were looking for my advice on how to cope with their life challenges. That's awesome. Gradually, it dawned on me that some of these people were going through troubles that were way bigger in magnitude than my problems. And that's always possible. Absolutely. Gradually, it dawned on me that some of these people were going through troubles that were way bigger in magnitude than my problems. I will never forget how much pain one young student felt when she had told me the story of her parents. At 24, she found out that her parents had an open marriage and her mother was seeing another man aside from her father. Neither of her parents dared to tell her until she found out herself. People in Asia, where I live, are very conventional, and most families would not openly live this type of arrangement because of how it would be perceived by society. Absolutely. The shame and betrayal she felt were so disheartening that it affected her studies, her mood, and her sense of self. She was devastated. As she counted the story, I got overtaken by emotion, lost all professional composure, and began to cry right in front of her. After this incident, it became clear to me, no matter what problems you are going through, there are people with similarly painful or even bigger problems out there. I decided to put my own realization to the test. In addition to counting my blessings, I began to experiment with two additional ways to put my problems in perspective. First, whenever I feel overwhelmed by a problem, I put the problem I'm facing at number 10 on a piece of paper and strive to find 9 others who are going through much bigger problems. Looking at my problems in this light provided me an excellent and effective way to build a strong sense of humility. Yes, it is absolutely important to see the light that shines through the darkness. But it's equally important to acknowledge that the darkness may not be as dark as you imagine it to be. Putting your problems in perspective and realizing that you are not as unfortunate as your distorted thoughts make you believe will be a valuable asset in helping you take constructive actions towards solving your problems. The power question. I get so thirsty. The power question. As I developed a sense of gratitude and humility, I realized I needed to do more to come out stronger from those challenges. Counting blessings and putting problems in perspective may be effective in the mental plane, but they won't make problems go away. As I continue my journey, reading, reflecting, finding means to solve my problems, I came across a famous quote by Epicurus. Skillful pilots gain their reputation from storms and tempests. The depth of the meaning of this quote made an immediate and profound impact on me. Excuse me. I became convinced that everyone must have a set of skills to respond to life's challenges. I asked myself, what inner strength do I have or do I need to develop in order to face this problem? Oftentimes, when the going gets tough, we ask ourselves blame questions such as, why me? Why is this happening? Or we may simply criticize ourselves by discounting our strength. I must really be stupid. I'm doomed. I'm never going to make it. Never think that way. By asking yourself this power question, you change your perspective and find what it takes to help you out of the rut. You don't blame, whine, or criticize. You get going. You get up. Asking myself this simple question helped me understand that I could use my life stories to empower others, either in writing or through my speeches, workshops, and seminars. At the time of this writing, I am proud to have impacted the life of thousands of young people throughout Asia. I've witnessed students, new hires, even managers develop a positive outlook on life as a result of these stories. That's good. I never would have done any of this had I asked myself the power question. No matter what you may be going through, I challenge you to ask yourself, what inner strength do I have? Or do I need to develop in order to face this problem? Does this mean I'm problem-free right now? Absolutely not. Much like the clouds in the sky, Problems come and go. But I'm no longer tossed around like a piece of wood on a stormy sea. I've developed the mental maturity that allows me to bend without cracking and to adjust my sails with a whirlwind of anxiety, worry, and stress. Today, I'm living a life of meaning and boundless joy. I've regained my appetite for living. The most meaningful of all my gains is the utmost satisfaction I experience helping others awaken their inborn geniuses. Writing this article is a direct example of this commitment. It took me 3 years of applying these principles before I could see any tangible results. Beware of the get happy quick scheme. Absolutely, it ain't going to happen. Anything valuable takes time. That's what I keep telling my son. He keeps asking, when am I going to be through this ordeal? It takes time. I wasn't abused in 2 years. I was abused for 30 years. It's going to take time to get through it. I'm pretty close to being through it, but there's still a lot to heal. Your happiness is no different. A combination of a willing heart, a bias for action, and patience are all you need to live your life of happiness and meaning. If you count your blessings, put your problems in perspective, ask yourself the powerful question, take consistent daily actions to strengthen your mind, you will get results behind your wildest imagination. Who knows, maybe next time we will enjoy an article from you. So what did you think about that? Is that something you can do? I know it's something I can do. I'm going to start with pointing out where I've gone wrong and put myself together. And if I come up with a problem, I'm going to write it down and figure out how to work through it. There's got to be easier ways of getting through this stuff than the way I've been doing it. Because it ain't been fun. It really hasn't. Other than it's been fun giving Snickers treats. I love giving Snickers treats when she's been so good. She's been sitting here like such a good girl. Yes, she has. Yes, you have been a good girl. But I want you to practice on this. And remember the power question. And your power question, and it really isn't a question, it's counting your blessings. However many you got, everybody's different. And putting your problems in perspective. We have to put our problems into perspective. That's how we learn. It's how we learn what our problems are and how to deal with our problems. And we can do that. Why? Because we're smart. We're smart people. We're learning constantly. Every day. You need to use every day as a learning tool. When you go out and about, learn. Every day is a learning experience. We must learn. Must keep learning. Okay? Can you do that for me? I know I can. I thank you all for listening and watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I especially love to hear comments. I'd like to know what you would like to hear about. Are there any problems that you need help with? Write it down in the comments and we can talk about it. In the meantime, peace out, love. I'm going to take my mom, get her hair cut today. Y'all have a great afternoon. Love you. Bye.